every scientist who studied this animal was completely wrong about its eyes. For 65 years, they published papers based on a lie told by the ocean itself. Welcome to the Twilight Zone. You are 800 meters below the surface, in a world of crushing pressure and eternal darkness. Down here, life follows different rules, and some of its creations defy belief. This is the Barreleye fish, Macropinna microstoma. When it was first described in 1939, the specimens hauled to the surface were always damaged, mangled. Their most delicate feature was destroyed every single time. So, scientists drew what they could. They saw two small, forward-facing eyes on a dark, mysterious body. They documented it. The case was closed. But look closer. The official record is missing something. What biologists thought were eyes are actually its nostrils. Think about that for a moment. The two spots you naturally assume are eyes are for smelling. So, where are its real eyes? And here is where the story turns from biology to science fiction. You have to look inside, through its head. That clear, fluid-filled dome on top of its body is its forehead, and inside it, floating like two green planets, are its eyes. These are not normal eyes. They are ultra-sensitive tubes, locked in an upward gaze, searching for the faintest silhouettes of food against the distant sunlit world. For decades, this was the accepted theory. A fish with a transparent head and fixed, upward-staring eyes. A biological curiosity. But a clumsy one, seemingly unable to see what it was eating. The textbooks all agreed, and they were all wrong. In 2004, researchers at the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute sent a robotic submersible on a deep dive, and for the first time, they saw a living barreleye in its natural habitat. The footage they captured changed everything. The robot's lights glinted off the transparent dome. Inside, the green eyes stared up, exactly as predicted. But then, the fish did something impossible. It rotated them. The green orbs swiveled from looking straight up to looking directly forward. It was like watching the pilot in a cockpit turn to look at you. This single observation rewrote the biology books overnight. The barreleye wasn't clumsy at all. It was a precision hunter, able to track prey from above and then lock on for the kill. The mystery of its eyes was finally solved. But in doing so, it revealed a far more disturbing question. Why would evolution build such a bizarre and complex visual system? What is it hunting down here that requires a transparent skull and rotating eyes inside its own head of its dark domain? You see, 800 meters down, light is a precious commodity. Only a faint, ethereal glow filters from above. This is not total darkness, but a world of perpetual twilight, where shadows stretch infinitely. And here's where it gets interesting. Many creatures in this deep-sea realm produce their own light. Bioluminescence. Imagine a living light show, constantly shifting, blinking, and pulsing around you. This is the barreleye's world. Think about what that means for a hunter. A transparent head allows the barreleye to scan its environment without casting shadows with its own skull. It becomes almost invisible from above. No dark silhouette to betray its presence. This adaptation is a testament to the relentless pressure of natural selection in the abyss. Scientists at the Scripps Institution of Oceanography, notably Dr. Bruce Robison, have spent decades studying these deep-sea dwellers. Their observations from remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, confirm that the barreleye often hovers motionless, eyes fixed upwards. It's waiting for the telltale shimmer of a passing meal. But this isn't just about stealth, it's also about opportunity. The barreleye lives in a zone where food is scarce. Every calorie counts. So when a small fish or jellyfish drifts into its field of vision, it cannot afford to miss. The ability to swivel its eyes forward is the key. Suddenly, the upward-staring tubes become forward-facing binoculars, locking onto the prey. This precise tracking mechanism is what distinguishes it from other deep-sea visual hunters. It's not just seeing, it's targeting. You might wonder, how does something so fragile survive in such a hostile environment? The pressure at 800 meters is immense, over 80 atmospheres. That's like having the weight of an entire elephant pressing down on every square inch of your body. Yet, the Barreleye thrives. Its soft, gelatinous body and transparent skull are perfectly adapted. They simply equalize the pressure. No rigid structures to collapse. But the real question remains, what kind of prey necessitates such an extreme adaptation? What is it about these specific creatures that makes a transparent head and rotating eyes a superior hunting tool? The scientific community has long theorized about the Barreleye's diet. Early stomach content analyses were inconclusive, often revealing only amorphous digested matter. It was a mystery. Then, in 2009, a research team led by Dr. Kevin Raskoff published a paper in the journal Copia. They reported on specimens collected off the coast of California. Their findings were unexpected. These fish were not eating just anything that drifted by. They found evidence of zooplankton, yes, but also siphonophores, long, colonial organisms that can stretch for meters. These are not easy targets. Siphonophores are often armed with stinging cells, similar to jellyfish. Imagine trying to eat a long, venomous string in total darkness. That's what the Barreleye is doing. This suggests a highly specialized predator, one that can navigate complex, potentially dangerous prey. And here's the part nobody talks about enough. The Barreleye's unique visual system isn't just for seeing prey. It's also for avoiding predators. Down here, you are both hunter and hunted. Think of it. With eyes pointed upwards, it can spot the faint outlines of larger predators silhouetted against the dim light from the surface. It offers an early warning system. No other fish in this zone has this dual-purpose vision with such precision. How many other deep-sea mysteries remain hidden simply because our methods of observation are too crude? The official records, the scientific papers, often only tell part of the story. The Barreleye's true capabilities went undiscovered for decades because we couldn't observe it alive in its natural state. We were looking at dead specimens, mangled and distorted. And what other marvels are we missing right now? Because our technology or understanding is insufficient. What other fundamental truths are hidden by the vastness of the ocean, waiting for us to just look a little closer? Waiting for us to just look a little closer. This question haunted Dr. Bruce Robison for decades. The official records, the scientific papers, often only tell part of the story. Think about it. We were looking at dead specimens, mangled and distorted. How could we truly understand a creature that relies on a transparent skull to survive, when that skull collapses on a scent? This is where the story truly shifts. This is where observation challenges assumption. The scientific community had theories, models, and diagrams, but they lacked direct evidence of the Barreleye's full capabilities. They had never seen it perform its incredible ocular rotation. Imagine trying to understand a bird by only studying its feathers. You miss the flight. You miss the song. You miss the very essence of its being. And here's where it gets interesting. Researchers at the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, MBARI, were not just looking for barreleyes. They were exploring the deep sea systematically. Their remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs, were equipped with high-definition cameras and sensitive sensors. These machines, like the Ventana and Tiburon, were designed to withstand the crushing pressures of the abyss. In 2004, one of these ROVs, the Tiburon, was on a routine survey mission off the coast of California. It was operating at a depth of approximately 600 meters. The team, led by Dr. Robison, was meticulously documenting the biodiversity of this unseen world. And then, there it was, a pristine specimen of Macropinna microstoma. It floated serenely, its green eyes fixed upwards. The transparent dome on its head shimmered under the ROV's lights. For the first time, scientists were witnessing a living barreleye, undamaged, in its natural environment. This was a moment of pure, unadulterated discovery. The initial footage confirmed what was already known: upward-staring eyes within a transparent head. But then, the fish moved. It turned its body slightly, and the eyes, they swiveled. You saw it. The green orbs, previously locked in an upward gaze, rotated forward. It was a fluid, deliberate motion, not a twitch, not a reflex, but a controlled action. This single observation, captured on video, instantly debunked 65 years of scientific consensus. Every textbook, every diagram, every published paper about the Barreleye's fixed eyes was suddenly obsolete. What does that tell you about the limits of scientific understanding? What else have we assumed to be true based on incomplete data? This was not just a minor correction. This was a fundamental misunderstanding of the creature's entire hunting strategy. The Barreleye wasn't a passive filter feeder waiting for food to drift above it. It was an active, precise predator. It could track prey, it could target, and it could do so with a visual system unlike almost anything else on Earth. The implications were immense. This fish, thought to be a biological oddity, was in fact a master of its domain. Its transparent head wasn't just for stealth, it was an optical advantage. The fluid-filled dome acts like a wide-angle lens, gathering every last photon of light. And the tubular eyes, now known to be rotatable, could focus that light with incredible precision. They could switch from a wide, upward scan to a narrow, forward-facing beam. This dual capability is a marvel of evolution. But why wasn't this observed sooner? Why did it take an ROV in 2004 to see what should have been obvious? The answer is simple and disturbing. We were destroying the evidence. Every time a barreleye was brought to the surface, the delicate transparent dome would rupture. The soft tissues would collapse. The eyes, no longer supported by the internal fluid, would shift and often become dislodged. What scientists saw were mangled remains. They interpreted the damage as the natural state. Nobody questioned the prevailing narrative. The textbooks here usually stop, but the reality is far more humbling. It reveals a blind spot in our own methodology. How many other deep-sea creatures with equally astonishing adaptations remain misunderstood because we cannot observe them in their true context? This single fish, Macropinna microstoma, forced science to confront its own limitations. It forced a reevaluation of how we study the deep ocean. It showed us that sometimes the greatest discoveries are not about finding something new, but about seeing something familiar with fresh eyes. And it leaves you wondering, what other profound secrets still hide, just beyond the reach of our current technology, waiting for us to simply look a little closer? What other profound secrets still hide, just beyond the reach of our current technology, waiting for us to simply look a little closer? This question isn't just for scientists. It touches everyone who has ever looked at the ocean and felt a sense of wonder. Think about it. For decades, the barreleye was a static drawing in a textbook, a biological oddity. But for Dr. Robeson and his team at MBARI, it was a challenge, a living puzzle. You might think deep-sea research is all about robots and cold data. But there are real people behind those screens. People like Kakani Katija, a principal engineer at MBARI. She designs the very ROVs that make these discoveries possible. She pours her expertise into machines that can withstand over 80 atmospheres of pressure. Her hands guide the joysticks. Her eyes scrutinize the monitors, searching for the faintest flicker of life. And now pay attention to this. The official reports often focus on the fish, but it's the human ingenuity, the relentless curiosity, that truly makes these moments happen. What does it feel like to be the first person to see a creature defy decades of scientific understanding? Imagine the quiet hum of the ROV's motors, the blue glow of the screens in a darkened control room. Then a sudden shout, a gasp. Did you see that? This is not just science. This is passion. This is a moment of pure, unadulterated discovery. The scientific community had accepted the barreleye's fixed eyes for 65 years. But a single observation by a dedicated team shattered that consensus. Read that sentence again. 65 years of established knowledge overturned in an instant. This wasn't about proving anyone wrong. It was about seeing the truth. It was about pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible. And here's the part nobody talks about enough: the immense patience required. Dr. Robeson has spent more than 40 years studying the deep sea. 40 years. Think about the countless hours, the meticulous planning, the failed attempts. Yet, they persisted. They kept sending those ROVs down, day after day, year after year, because they believed there was more to learn. What drives someone to dedicate their life to exploring a world so alien, so remote? It is the profound desire to understand, to peel back the layers of the unknown, to witness life adapting in ways we can barely comprehend. The textbooks here usually stop at the facts, but the reality is far more humbling. It reveals a profound human connection to the natural world, a desire to connect with something ancient and mysterious, a longing to understand our place in a universe full of wonders. This single fish, Macropena microstoma, forced science to confront its own limitations. It forced a re-evaluation of how we study the deep ocean. It showed us that sometimes the greatest discoveries are not about finding something new, but about seeing something familiar with fresh eyes. And it leaves you wondering, what other profound secrets still hide just beyond the reach of our current technology, waiting for us to simply look a little closer? What personal sacrifices were made to bring this knowledge to light? What unseen struggles did these scientists face, battling against skepticism, funding cuts, and the sheer difficulty of working in the most extreme environment on Earth? The Barreleye's story is not just about a fish. It's about the human spirit of exploration. It's about the relentless pursuit of truth. What will you choose to look closer at in your own world? For the scientists at Barreleye, the answer is always the same: deeper. The discovery of the Barreleye's rotating eyes was not an endpoint. It was a single sentence in a book with 1 million unwritten pages. Here are the numbers. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration states that as of 2023, roughly 75% of our ocean is unmapped, unobserved, and unexplored. Think about that for a second. We have more detailed maps of the surface of Mars than we do of the floor of our own planet. This isn't just empty water. It is the largest living space on Earth. And the Barreleye is not an anomaly down here. It is a messenger. It tells us that the rules of life you know on the surface are completely rewritten in the abyss. You find the vampire squid, which ejects a cloud of glowing mucus instead of ink to blind its attackers. You find the goblin shark, with a horrifying, extendable jaw that shoots out to snatch its prey. Each one seems like a creature from a nightmare. But they are real, and they are our neighbors. The official record lists around 240,000 known marine species. The actual number? The World Register of Marine Species estimates that over 2/3 of all marine life has yet to be discovered. That could mean millions of new species. Why don't we know? The textbooks don't mention that looking is hard. It's brutally expensive, and it's dangerous. So why persist? Why spend millions on robotic submersibles to glimpse creatures we may never see again? Because this vast, dark space is not separate from our world. It is the engine of our world. The deep ocean regulates our climate. It absorbs nearly 1/3 of the carbon dioxide we produce. Its currents drive weather patterns that affect every farm, every city, every single person on Earth. We are fundamentally connected to this hidden world, whether we acknowledge it or not. The official story is always about conservation. Protect the whales, save the reefs. But how can you protect something you don't even know exists? The story of the Barreleye fish began with a mistake, a 65-year misunderstanding based on broken evidence. It reminds us that knowledge is not a monument carved in stone. It is a living thing, constantly changing with each new observation. It is a process of unlearning what we thought was true. We stand at the shore of the greatest wilderness left on our planet. The barreleye, with its transparent head and searching eyes, is a perfect symbol for our own quest. It looks up, through the darkness, searching for a faint glimmer of light from a world it cannot reach. And you have to